Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. This time, it's not just one but two parts of the same movie in one video. We're talking about Death Forest, which is a really scary Japanese horror movie. I didn't get to watch the movie with English subtitles, so once again we're gonna be focusing on my interpretation of this movie, which might be slightly different from the original one, but it will be mostly correct. So make sure to watch the video till end. If you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video cause I bring you horror from around the world. And with that said, let's dive into the video. So the part first of Death Forest begins with a guy named Yoshida. He was in some dark woods where one of his friends went missing a few days ago. Thinking the friend is dead, Yoshida pays his respect and leaves some flowers. He then talks to some detectives on the phone and told them where he is, when suddenly the network got disrupted. Yoshida then pulled out his maps, and as he was looking into it, suddenly a big demonic head came from behind and attacked him. Scene goes on 4 college students who were in the woods in a cabin for their weekend. Their names were Saki, Ayaka, Takashi, and Masaya. The 4 were pretty wasted at night when Saki decided to go out and get some air. She goes out, but in a minute, the cabin's light goes out and she heard Ayaka screaming. Scared, Saki went back, but the cabin was empty. Trying to find her friends, Saki went looking around the cabin and reached the woods. She heard a voice and suddenly she saw a woman. She screamed and ran away, but it turns out that the woman was Ayaka herself and her friends were just playing a prank on her. Saki hurt her leg in the process, and then the next day, the 4 were prepping to go back home. They were loading up the car when 2 detectives came to talk with Saki. Detective Keiji and his friend asked her about a missing man, and his name was Yoshida. They showed her the photo of him too, and according to the detectives, Yoshida is missing for a few days, but neither Saki nor her friends knew who he was. Detectives further told them to not wander off into these woods because they have reports of people going missing. The friends take their leave, not much concerned about the warning. On their way, they stopped at an old-looking restaurant to end their hunger, but the place looked rather abandoned. The friends still checked the place to see if someone's around, and when Takashi was looking inside the vacated place, suddenly he sees a mysterious woman. That woman came creepily and opened the door for him. When the friends asked if this is a restaurant, the woman just smiled and got back inside. Thinking it was an invitation, the friends stepped in, and the woman fed them like a normal restaurant. They paid and all, but the woman was just staring at them all the time, which was strange and eerie. After finishing their plates, the friends returned to their car and drove back on the road. But they stopped because Saki found another way. That way was like any other usual way, and it seemed like a shortcut out of the woods. So obviously the friends ended up taking it. However, after driving on that way for a while, things started to change. The woods became dense and they passed by Yoshida's abandoned bike. It was getting darker by the mile, and soon after, their car broke down. Takashi gets off and had a look, which ended up with him declaring that they're stuck in the woods and they must get help before it gets dark. There were no networks where they were, and Ayaka pointed out that they were out of water as well. Saki was suspicious of these woods, but in the end, they had to go explore. They went off in 2 different ways. Takashi and Saki went looking for help, and Ayaka and Masaya went looking for water. Soon the water search led them to an abandoned place, and they went inside. There Ayaka found a place where rainwater was dribbling down, so she starts to collect it, and on the other hand, Saki heard a creepy voice. She got scared, and Takashi calmed her down, but then the 2 witnessed something evil in the woods. That something was looking at them, which scared them enough that they ran away. Meanwhile, an unknown man attacked Masaya in that place. That man turned out to be Yoshida, who was still alive. When Yoshida saw that Masaya is a human, he just ran away into the woods. Scared and not knowing who that man was, Ayaka and Masaya ran towards their car. But once there, they saw that Yoshida was trying to start their car. Instantly, Masaya lunged at him and pulled him out of the car, and soon Saki and Takashi arrived at the scene. The boys tackled Yoshida while he was saying that they need to get away from the woods before the sun sets. But in the fight, Yoshida ended up passing out. No one knew who that man was until Saki noticed that he is Yoshida, the missing man the detectives were talking about. Now that Yoshida is found, the friends put him in the back of their car, and soon the sun was about to set. They had no help or water, and Takashi was not fond of the idea that they're letting a strange man stay with them. This turned into an argument and Takashi ended up walking away to get some air. At night, Takashi wanders deep into the woods, and he didn't come back for a long while, which started to bother his other friends. After a while, Yoshida wakes up, and he sighed in relief because he was safe inside the car. Then Saki asked Yoshida what he was yapping about earlier, and Yoshida revealed casually that these woods are filled with demons, and they come out at night for hunting. They can be stopped with the use of light, but Saki didn't believe him just yet. Although, when Yoshida found out about Takashi being outside, he claimed that he will die and no one can stop that from happening. The scene goes back on those detectives who came looking for Takashi and reached that mysterious woman's restaurant. That mysterious woman came and looked at Yoshida's photo and told the detectives that she hasn't seen the guy, but she invited the detectives inside for some dinner, which was already ready on the table. That was strange, so the detectives decided to take their leave. Something was fishy about this woman, I'm that sure. The scene goes back on Yoshida, where he showed some photo he clicked in the jungle to their friends, and in one of the photos, Ayaka saw a weird grey demon. The friend starts to believe him, but Yoshida was not worried about grey demons. He was worried about something called Yoshie, which he couldn't capture on camera. Worried, the friends went looking for Takashi, and soon deep in the woods, they heard voices like someone eating flesh. They turned on their torches and looked around and were left horrified when they found Takashi's corpse with a demon who was eating him. The friends screamed and ran to save their lives, and when they stopped, both the girls started crying. In the middle of that, the grey demon came back, and one of them stands behind Masaya. Though in the last moment, Ayaka showed the demon the torchlight, and as Yoshida predicted, the demon froze at its place, giving the friends enough time to escape. They ran and ran and ran, but then Masaya came across another demon, and this was Yoshie. It was a giant floating head who attacked on Masaya swiftly. And ate him alive in a second, tearing his body into two pieces. Seeing this, Ayaka screamed at the top of her lungs and ran to save herself. She hid behind a wall, but the demons were still following, and Saki was missing too. Soon the demons came behind her and the torch ran out of batteries. Ayaka instantly turned on her mobile's flashlight, but then she saw the demon just behind her. Now we see Saki, who survived and successfully came back inside the car. He started crying, and Yoshida asked her to calm down. Saki told him that everyone died, but Yoshida told her to worry not, cause demons won't come inside the car cause of the light. Yoshida reveals that he lost his friend too in these woods, and he was actually investigating his death. Then suddenly, Ayaka popped up on the window, and luckily she was alive. Ayaka takes a deep breath after surviving the horror, but then she scolds Saki cause she left her to die out there. However, Yoshida told the girls that he had a plan. He pulled out a flare stick and told the girls his plan. The plan was that Yoshida was gonna go off with the flare. He'll go and get his bike and save the girls. He was gonna use the flare to stop the demons from attacking him. But Ayaka didn't trust him, and she snatched the flare for herself. Saki tried to get the flare back, but Ayaka didn't let her. Everyone knew that soon the fuel will run out and the lights of the car will end, so the one with the flare will stay alive the longest. But then suddenly, they hear some growls at the front. Yoshida turned on the headlights, and their spines shivered after witnessing multiple great demons in front of their car. The demons froze on their position because of the headlights, and it was a good chance for Yoshida to run towards his bike. Yoshida ran and the demons stayed in place, but Ayaka told Saki that now Yoshida won't come back for him. Ayaka was scared, and she didn't want to die, so she decided to run for her life using the flare. She started the flare and ran, and Saki couldn't stop her. She ran and ran and ran, but obviously the flare was going to end, and it did. which resulted in Yoshie eating Ayaka alive. On the other hand, the car finally ran out of fuel and the demons attacked on Saki. She turned on the flashlight and ran cause that was her only way. She ran and ran and ran, and luckily Yoshida came back for her. She hopped on his bike and the two drives off the woods. But on their way, Yoshie started following them. Yoshida told Saki to take pictures of the demon, and she did. With every flash, the demon was getting farther and farther, and the photos were capturing its every move. But somehow the demon came close, so close that it was about to eat Saki. But in the last moment, Yoshida finally made it out of the woods, and strangely enough, it was day outside, so the demons were actually playing with time too. The two survived and they were glad. And on the other hand, the detectives came back at the mysterious woman's restaurant to have a chat with her. But this time the restaurant was empty. They didn't find the woman inside, and it was clear as glass that the demon and the woman were somehow connected. In the end, when the detectives were off to their way, one of them found a photo of that woman who was dead for a long time. They scared the detectives, and this is where the movie ends. Now without further ado, let's talk about Death Forest Part 2, which begins with Yoshida. He was back at his home, but since the incident of the first movie, something was wrong with him. The photo Saki took of Yoshie came out blank. The demon was not in him. However, when Yoshida looked at those photos, he gets excruciating headache. Not only that, something was wrong with Yoshida's body. He was not bleeding, even if he gets a cut. Somehow he was alive, but the demons were still haunting him. The scene goes in an old abandoned school building, which was located near the same woods. We meet with a teacher named Minami, who runs drama club. Minami had brought her drama club into this old building for a practice camp, and she knew that the woods are dangerous, but didn't know why. The drama club includes 5 girls, and the main 2 were Shirakawa and Kizuki. Kizuki was kinda strange, and she had joined drama club recently. She never speaks to anyone because everyone think of her as a psychopath. Other than those 2 girls, there were Reina, Taemki, and Yoku. Everyone was up to some kind of activity, but Kizuki was outside the building on her own. After a while, Minami went to fetch Kizuki, but she didn't listen to her one bit. She told her that she'll join the club when she wants to, and Minami had to leave. But as the teacher left, something strange happens. We meet again with that mysterious woman, and she was staring at Kizuki. This clears the air, and now we know that this woman is related to demons. The woman creeped Kizuki out, so she went back inside the school. Scene goes on the girls where they were practicing their dialogues. When Yoko starts talking about Kizuki and how everyone needs to stay alert around her. Soon after, Minami came back with Kizuki and told the girls to include Kizuki with them. When the practice resumed, Kizuki told others about the woman, but no one listened to her. To do an activity, everyone goes at the roof, where they screamed about their problems out in the open to get relaxed. Everyone does this, but Kizuki finds all that ludicrous, so she just curses and went back. Now the girls advise Shirakawa to stay away from Kizuki because she's the only one who has been showing her sympathy back on that mysterious woman who then stood in front of that school building before she fell on her knees. Now I guess we all know that this woman is a ghost, so perhaps she was under the influence of those evil beings, and those beings could be the reason that she's after humans. She's basically locating the people around so the beast can come and feed on them. Just a theory, just saying. Comment below what you're thinking. Not only that, Yoshida was himself suffering with something mysterious, so perhaps he's going under the same influence as the woman. The scene goes on Yoshida, who was still worried about everything, when suddenly the face of Yoshie appeared in his photos, which wasn't there before. In one of the photos, Yoshida saw this school building, and thinking that there might be some clues about this demon, Yoshida gets up and went to investigate the school. Inside the school, the practice was resumed when Minami asked where Kizuki is, but no one knew where she was, and no one really cared. Kizuki was actually smoking in the bathroom, and she was stuck with her past. We find out that one day she got into trouble with a boy, and that boy was gonna stab her, but in that hassle, Kizuki snatched that knife from him. The knife belonged to the guy, but everyone thought that she was attacking him, and that's how she became the psycho. After smoke, Kizuki goes and looks at her reflection when suddenly she sees Yoshie behind her for a moment. It scared her, but we see that Kizuki still had that knife in her pocket. Back on Minami, who was then looking for Kizuki. Minami also locks the entrance door cause it's gonna be night soon. She then walked around and came across that bathroom where she heard something from inside. Minami thought it's Kizuki, so she entered the bathroom where suddenly the door locks itself. On the other hand, the drama club didn't care about Kizuki, but when Minami didn't came back for a while, they thought something was wrong. Yoko and Tenki decided to go and look for Minami, and they were going downstairs when suddenly they saw a shadow of a demon. Scared, they ran away inside the science lab and waited for that thing to go. They didn't know what it was, but when it goes away, the two looked around the science lab. They started messing around when once again the demon came back. They hid, but thinking it could be a bad person, they ran outside. Running away, they reached the teacher's room where they found Minami's stuff, but she was not there. Kinda lost, they decided to go back, but as they stepped outside, they found Kizuki holding a knife standing near Minami's dead body. Kizuki looked scared and she shouted at the girls to run away and save themselves. Thinking that Kizuki murdered the teacher, the girls ran and went back to Shirakawa and Reina. They told them what they saw, but Shirakawa didn't believe because already everyone hates Kizuki. When no one listened, Tenki tried calling for help only to find out that there was no service. Shirakawa then asked for a proof, and that was why the girls decided to go and look at the dead body again. The four wandered off into the darkness and came back to the place where Minami was, but obviously now they didn't find her. However, suddenly they heard a noise. They checked it out, and then out of the blue, that grey demon pops up in front of him. They screamed and ran to save their lives. Running away, they reached a hallway where they found Kizuki, and without wasting a second, the girls started asking Kizuki what that thing was and what did she do to the teacher. Now Kizuki have heard about there were demons in the woods, but she did not have real-life experience. So she discovered that the demons are repulsed of light. Everyone blamed Kizuki for no reason until a creepy voice came from outside. They all hide and Kizuki starts crying because no one likes her. Shirakawa comforted her, but Tenki kept on blaming everything on Kizuki. She kept saying that Kizuki is the murderer, and then she even goes outside the room where suddenly Yoshie came behind her, and it attacked and ate Tenki in a second, tearing her body apart in two pieces. Seeing that demon, the girls screamed at the top of their lungs, and then Yoshie entered the room. It glided towards Shirakawa, and it cornered her. She would have died if it wasn't for Kizuki, who came at the last moment and showed the demon light. The demon froze, and the girls escaped. Meanwhile, Yoko and Reina reached the exit, but it was locked. They saw that mysterious woman outside and they cried for help, but the woman just kept on staring at him. Soon Shirakawa and Kizuki joined the girls, and since they knew that Minami had the keys, they ran to find her body as the demons chased them. Kizuki kept the torch on, and they escaped the horror until they finally found the corpse of their teacher. As Reina stepped up to fetch the keys, suddenly they spots a demon. It was waiting for him to come inside. Kizuki gathered some courage and stepped slowly with the flashlight on, because the demon won't attack her with the light in her hands. She went and successfully fetched the keys, but before she can come back, the demon jumped between the girls. The demon startled Reina, and she ran in the opposite direction, but she was unfortunate, because Yoshie was waiting for her just behind a door. Shirakawa and Yoko ran after Reina, but they were too late. Yoshie was already eating up Reina. The girls tried to save her, but Yoshie ended up dragging her away. And on the other hand, Kizuki was stuck with the demon. Luckily, she had the torch to keep it frozen. Now Shirakawa and Yoko ran and hid inside a classroom, where the two had a mental breakdown. Shirakawa somehow calmed herself down, and then she wanted to go and save Kizuki, but the idea didn't interest Yoko at all. It was a death mission, But Shirakawa still ran outside and she told Yoko to wait for her inside the classroom. However, as soon as Shirakawa left, the only bulb that was okay in the classroom went off and a demon appeared outside the window. Scene goes back on Kizuki, who was running away but kept on stopping to avoid the demon attack. However, one of the demons attacked her from the side. The demon tried to bite her face off, but Kizuki slit his throat at the last second. Killing the demon triggers the past memories, and we find out that the guy in school who had the knife actually wanted to rape Kizuki. He was threatening her with the knife to oblige, and that's how their fight began. So Kizuki was actually the victim, but everyone made her feel like the villain. The memories haunt Kizuki till now, but in the present, something else was coming to haunt her. Yoshie was coming towards her. It came so near and even opened its mouth, but Shirakawa came to save the day, and she drove Yoshie away with a big light, saving Kizuki. Shirakawa consoled her, but Kizuki asked her why did she save her. Kizuki actually had given up, but Shirakawa told her to not waste her life just because of her past. But it wasn't the time for such a talk, because soon enough, those grey demons came back. Kizuki gave Shirakawa the keys and told her to go unlock the entrance while Kizuki would keep the demons away. Shirakawa agreed and ran away, but on her way, she crossed paths with Yoko. The two talked, but for some reason, Yoko was acting weird. She was saying stuff like we're all gonna die. But when Shirakawa looked what happened to her, she was shocked. Yoko was missing one of her arms, and she looked kinda possessed. Shirakawa tried to help Yoko, but she was acting insane. She kept on laughing, and soon a demon appeared behind her. The demon was about to attack on the girls when Kizuki came and stabbed him in his head. Shirakawa and Kizuki then ran away, but it was too late for Yoko. She had lost her senses, and soon the demons took her away. Now the remaining two girls finally make it out of the building. They try to run away as far as they can, but Yoshie wasn't gonna leave him alone. It appeared behind him and starts chasing him with twice the speed. The girls ran and ran and ran, and they were losing hope, but not today, maybe tomorrow, because Yoshida arrived at the scene. He gets out of his car and protects the girls. He pulls a camera and clicks a photo of the demon. The demon froze at its place because of the flash, and finally Kizuki and Shirakawa were saved. Back on Yoko, who finds herself surrounded by the demons, and then obviously she died. Next day, Yoshida was again on his phone, talking about how he captured Yoshi in a photo when we see that mysterious woman. And she was off to someplace else with her demon army. But as the woman passed by, suddenly, a photo of her appeared in Yoshida's hands. The photo confused him because he had no clue where it came from. In the end, we see Kizuki and Shirakawa safe and sound in the hospital. They were fine, and this is where the movie ends. However, the story continues with Death Forest Part 3, and I will bring you that soon enough. So make sure to like this video and subscribe the channel. So this was the recap video on the movie Death Forest Part 1 and Part 2, and I hope you have liked it. If you have, then hit that subscribe button and smash it and break the screen of your phone for the love of God. Also like this video. If you want to watch this movie, then there's a link to my Telegram channel in the description box where I share movie links every now and then. So make sure to go subscribe there. I'm mostly active on Insta, so you can follow me there, and also check out my other channels where we discussed about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay away, because they always see you.